Good evening. I'd like to call to order the December 7th, 2022 meeting of the Clearwater Downtown Development Board. I'd like to ask everyone to make sure your phones are on silent and you can cease private conversations at this time. Also, I'd like to remind members to lean forward, speak clearly, so that the microphones can pick up your voice. We'll begin with the introductions of the members and ex officio members, beginning on my left.
Ray Casano.
Shahab Emrani.
Paris Morphopoulos.
Keenan Kinsel.
Caitlin Jammo.
Festus Pulbini.
Lena Teixeira.
Mark Bunker.
Very good. So the first item we're taking up is the minutes of the November 2nd, 2022 meeting. I'm going to ask if there's anyone that wants to request any corrections to the minutes. All right. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
I move to adopt the November 2nd minutes.
Very good. Do we have a second? Okay, so we have Keenan, seconded by Ray. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Appears unanimous. Okay, number 3, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Are there any citizens that would like to address us? Okay, please come up. Please keep comments limited to matters relevant to the DDB district. Comments for items that are on the agenda, please hold them until the agenda item is called. Please identify yourself for the record, and there will be a time limit of 3 minutes.
Thank you. Beth Daniels. I'm here on behalf of the Clearwater Arts Alliance just to say hi and catch up because we've been very busy and we have several projects that are ongoing that relate to downtown, just to keep you informed. I've visited with you on a number of occasions before. I'm still hoping and trying to see if we can get a time that members of your board can come on the public art walk. But we do have some lovely new postcards about that item. If you could pass them down the way, I would appreciate that. We've now been at it about a year, that on the third Saturday of the month, both at a morning time at 10:30 and an afternoon opportunity, usually at 4, during the hottest months at 5, just because of obvious things with the weather. We conduct a public art walk. In fact, one of our most successful this past year was this past June, if I'm not mistaken, Lena. We had a special one that was set to close the Art and Treasure exhibit, which was real interesting as a result of the big cleanup, and we had a wonderful crowd that day. Obviously, weather is getting better to be outside and enjoy a walk, so invited to that. And please get in touch. We're not only doing the regular 1 to a month, but we also offer it with the docent to host you if you have a special group. So it could be a group from church, it could be a community, neighborhood or whatever, and we do that. The other thing is that we're very active. We just had a wonderful event with artists on November the 7th, but we're also very active getting these art-covered signal boxes done. Right now, there aren't too many more locations in the right downtown, but one of our ones that we had done a while back with some assistance with you all was damaged on the corner of Myrtle and Drew, which I made an insurance claim for, and it's going to be redone. So it is, we have collected back, and we will be rewrapping that soon. And we're hoping in the next month to get permission for several more locations, including right down here on Cleveland. It's a little tricky when you're dealing with a location that's actually Clearwater and also partly DOT, like if it's Alt 19's site. But anyway, we're real busy with that. And other things, we hope to come to you to request some funding to assist with bolstering this effort, because we are really getting a lot of people coming downtown. They're finding out that not only they enjoy hearing about the art, but then they learn, where's the library? Where's the post office? Where are these other businesses? Most of them conclude their walk and then go to a local restaurant. So it's been a real nice situation, and we just hope to continue it and to get your support in that. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I just want to periodically check in so you know what we're busy doing.
Very good. Any questions from anyone? Any comments?
No, thank you.
Okay, we'll just thank you for another year of serving the downtown. Okay, any other citizen comments? Okay. Looking, the October 2022 financial statement, Anne, if you could take us through that.
Good evening, Ann Lopez, CRA Program Specialist.
The first item that you have before you is we are requesting approval of the October 2022 financial statement for filing. This will be the first month of your new fiscal year. And so your funds spent in October were $16,545.60. And if you noticed, when we had our work plan meeting, I talked about the different way this year that I would be presenting to you your financials, and that would be listing out all of the approved grant funding. So that way you can see each request that came before you that has been approved, the amount that's been approved, and how much they've received. So that way you guys will see that on a rolling basis every month, and that's outlined in the attachments. Any
Excellent.
questions?
Any questions from the board? Are there any? Oh, go ahead.
Which attachment is that listed? I don't see it.
Yes, it would be the first one, that's statement of revenues through October 31st, 2022. If you click on if you're in the agenda and you click on the blue number of the agenda item, it'll take you into the,
No, I'm in the October. Does it need to be the year-to-date one? Probably.
One
it
says
might be.
October year-to-date, the other one says expenditures.
Yes. Either one of them will list all of the,
You guys see it? I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's the second one,
Okay.
and then if you look, it's on lines 22 through 34.
so under your marketing category, the special event requests that have come forward that you all have approved so far, those are all listed underneath.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? Are there any citizen comments? All right, I'm looking for a motion on adopting this financial statement.
I move that we adopt the October 22 financial statement for filing.
Second?
Okay, so motion by Ray, seconded by Caitlin. Do we have any discussion on this item? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Appears unanimous. Okay, thank you, Ann. Howard, yeah, the next item, the year in review.
Howard Smith, Business Assistant Administrator for the Community Redevelopment Agency. So at the last board meeting, I informed you I'll be coming through providing you a year in review. So I want to kind of go over some of the successes, some of the events that you all funded, and just provide you an overall update as far as some of the goals based off the work plan that was completed. Over the past couple of months, I did a kind of cursory review of the grant funding process, also the work plan, and also the grant funding. So now we're at just a review of where you guys have stood with your projects, your initiatives, and your grant funding. Okay? So today's purpose is to provide an overview of the projects, initiatives, and grants approved by board members. The overall goals for the DDB projects, initiatives, and grant funding, anybody that you guys have provided support for, it adds visibility to your name. Part of your work plan goals was to activate different areas within the DDB district, as well as welcome new organizations and bring ideas to downtown that you guys could support through different initiatives, as well as your grant funding projects. And I really would like to say from my perspective, you guys have done a really, really good job about doing that this year with unique fundings of various events. And it was all based off of your budgeted categories, which are the marketing, business assistance, and also the policy and project work. Under your work plan goals and the marketing, the goal for that was to increase awareness as downtown as a fun destination. You guys have funded 13 events within this fiscal year. Under the business assistance, and these are just highlights. These aren't overall specific, these are just highlights for each one of the funding categories. Under business assistance, the goal for that was to retain current businesses and also attract new ones. You guys have approved a marketing plan for grant funding for local businesses. Keenan, would you like to kind of give a short update about the status for the marketing plan?
Sure. The digital marketing plan is what we're talking about for Google, Facebook, et cetera, advertising, that $50,000 that we've reserved or escrowed. And we met the other day with Eric and Ann and Howard and went through that and brainstormed. So we're going to be having a proposal, I believe, at the January or February,
Probably more like February or maybe the March meeting.
February or March with all the specifics, but we hashed out some of the basic ideas, which the thing that kept coming up was it's a Kickstarter program. It's not necessarily meant to fund those that have lots of money or super huge already doing it, unless they want to spend money into some new category. So we started discussing all of that, and we'll have some specifics here in a couple months, but I think we made a lot of headway, and I'm excited about it, because I think done correctly, it'll generate more traffic downtown.
Yes. And then on the policy and project work, one of the things that you guys did was establish a diversity and equity committee, and Caitlin served as the essential chair for that, and there was able to bring forth initiative for the Indigenous vibe underneath that category. So getting down to what you all funded from your budget for the fiscal 2021-2022 year under marketing, that budgeted category was at $250,000. You utilized $105,010 in grant funding, as well as you fund 13 various events in downtown. And with those 13 events that was funded in downtown, the bulk of these events were new to the downtown area. Under business assistance, you all budgeted $233,465 in grant funding for that budget line item. You utilized $31,458 in grant funding, and you funded 3 projects underneath that area. And for that one, that's the Jolly Trolley Loop and what you all supported for the holiday lighting. And under policy and project work, that budget line item was funded at $42,000 in grant funding. You utilized $4,450 of that, which was paid for the equity committee meeting at Collaborative Labs. So any questions about the projects or the grant funding for last fiscal year? Okay. You guys are making this easy. Mm-hmm. All right. So the DDB projects and initiatives that were undertaken, if you recall give or take about 7 months ago, you all did ideas to improve downtown. And I would say from my end, you guys have really advocated to bring forth change and bring forth different initiatives that would support change in the future. You all did recommendation letters for signage that identifies parking in downtown. So we sent a letter on your behalf that Paris signed to the parking manager requesting improved signage that identifies parking in downtown. You also advocated by sending a recommendation letter to the City Council to allocate spaces in Imagine Park for food trucks, as well as you also submitted a recommendation letter for improvements to the city's permitting process to start new businesses in downtown that would make it easier for a new business to come on and kind of navigate the permitting process. As well as you also have provided interest in the enhancement for the Pinellas Trail for the bike path, and you want to be able to bring about changes that identifies and be able to make the trail more beautiful, and that is a project that's underway. We're currently working and talking to Pinellas County as they are the true owners of the trail, as well as discussing with CSX. So our RFP will be going out discussing that. Anything else you want to add to that, Matt?
No, that was perfect.
Okay. And as well as you guys have continued your financial support of PSTA for funding the Jolly Trolley, which connects riders from North Pinellas County and the beach to downtown. So some of the highlights of the success that you all had as a board. Earlier last month, in the latter part of last month, you all developed a new mission statement that will be brought forth in January of 2023 for approval. You also have developed a new work plan that will be brought forth for approval. In addition, you facilitated the Downtown Coordination Committee meeting, which was a collective group of stakeholders to kind of focus on how you all could work together for a collaborative process to be able to advance downtown and downtown initiatives. And in dealing with inclusivity, we're developing a Spanish version of the current DDB funding application, which we will bring that forward to you in January for approval, as well as for unique engagement. And this is where I feel like as a board, you all have really excelled in terms of supporting unique events, and again, going by bringing different ideas into downtown. You guys have funded the Indigenous Vibe, the Ukulele Festival, Hard to Go Harlequin Market, Salsa in the District, the Food Truck 30s event, Party Pirates, Trash Art Exhibit, the Starry Night event, as well as the Tiny Paw Parade and the HOC's Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead event. So, and all these things are first-time events for this year coming into downtown. So when you really go back and look at the efforts and the successes and the things that you all have provided to the citizens for the city of Clearwater for downtown, I feel like you guys have really done an outstanding job. So overall, this is your year in review. Any specific questions that I might be able to add? Be able to answer? You can't make it that easy. Keena?
So out of all those events, we spent the majority of our budget, and there's a bit of a carryover, is that correct?
Yes. There'll be approximately 250 or so that we will bring over in January. So that will be
We spent all
forthcoming.
the money, and now we have about 250,
You have about 250 that we'll bring over and add it to your current budget.
which also covers some of these things we've already approved that have to be spent.
The Heart to Guard was funded out of last year's budget, was approved out of last year's budget, but it will go to this year's budget. The Indigenous Vibe event, the Brew Festival. So there are some things that was approved in last year's budget that will come out of this year's budget.
I guess the real question is, how much money do we have with Paris leaving to spend this year? Or did he spend it all?
No, he did not spend it all, but we will have those accurate numbers for you in January.
Okay, fine.
Chuck?
I know we went into over 70,000 into the whole, taking money out of next year's budget. So how does that fit in with the 250?
Well, it's this year's budget, but since you did not spend all your money in last fiscal year budget, that surplus will be brought over. And so for your marketing, where you are negative, we will bring enough money over to bring that to a zero amount. And then Ann will discuss with you at the time for next year to say, how do you want to allocate the surplus that's being brought over? And so that will be a conversation Joe with board members will have with her to say what amount of money you want to put into what funding categories.
See, that was
Thank
really an and question, but Howard handled it very well.
Well, we work together, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
It's impressive, the number of, not just diverse in terms of the audience, but just how different these different events are. So
Yes.
it's a good sign, and there's a lot more in the pipeline that have been recently approved, so.
Yes, and more to come. From some of the things I'm hearing and getting inquiries about the DDB, there will be more coming down the pipeline.
Very good. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
And I guess you might as well stay up there for the next point.
Yep.
Okay, Howard and Ann, item 4.3.
So they figured since you currently are the longest-serving member of the board, and I am the longest-serving CRA staff member, it would only be appropriate that I start off this one. So on behalf of CRA staff, Mr. Chairman, we would like to thank you for all of your support and all of your historical knowledge. If memory serves me correct, you've been on the board since 2010? 9. And so that is a lot of history that you bring to us, not only as the CRA, but as your staff. And we would really like to appreciate and thank you for your support with that. And we wish you all the best with all this extra time you have now, every first Wednesday of the month at 5:30.
Be watching TV.
And then we know we will see you in downtown around. And so with that, I will pass it on to your attorney, Elise Winters.
Very good.
Now the legal part, you're in trouble.
So,
Hey, I'm not coming up to scold you this time.
it's a
No,
relief.
it really has been a pleasure working with you. I've never worked without notes, you don't want me going off the cuff, but I do admire your leadership and your defense of the board, your attention to detail that a lot of people miss, and your obviously, obvious support of downtown, your devotion to downtown. This board's very important to me, and I'm glad it was very important to you. In my world, it is a high compliment to say that you left something in a good and workmanlike manner. And you did, so I thank you.
Great, well, thank you, I appreciate the comments.
Good evening, Matt Jackson, CRA Assistant Director. And I just want to say it's been an honor and a pleasure working with you, partnering with you on that unified vision of improving downtown. This is my hometown, and I truly appreciate your efforts, your professionalism, especially with doing your due diligence and making sure taxpayers' money are spent accordingly. Just a fantastic job on that. I just want to thank you for your many years of service on this board. You've weathered some ups and downs, and you've always done so with a smile on your face. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. I just wanted to say a couple of words. Number one, it's been a real honor and a privilege to be able to serve on a board like this and do what I can for our downtown. I have a vested interest in our downtown. I have a business here for many, many years. I want to see the downtown flourish and prosper, and I want all the businesses in it to do well. For this, I'm grateful for all the volunteers that offer to serve on their own, at their own expense and time, and they do a diligent job trying to execute faithfully their duties, so all of them are appreciated. Caitlin now has the longest serving tenure, so she's the veteran now. And obviously none of this, we're sort of the face of the DDB, but it's the CRA staff that make it possible to get done what we get done. And so for that, we're very grateful. You make us look good when we do look good. And we make ourselves look bad all by ourselves when we don't.
We don't need help.
Yeah. So with that, thank you very much, everybody.
We're actually not done.
Oh, you're not done?
We're supposed to be going around the room. So.
Oh, really? Boy,
Yes.
I can't take much more of this.
Paris, we hardly knew ye. I just wanted to start by saying there's a rather famous piece of video online where you approach me and say, so until you lose some weight, get out of my sight. Well, I'm happy to report after 22 years, I took your advice, I'm losing some weight. So thank you for that.
Okay.
I don't want to go into much more, except now that you're no longer going to be on the board, you could take my advice and talk to the folks who own these buildings downtown and are leaving them empty. I still think that's a valid thing for the DDB to be concerned about, but since you're not going to be on it anymore, it'd be a good idea to reach out to the Scientologist owners and say, you really help our downtown if you just put a business in those buildings. Other than that, best of luck to you.
Okay. Thank you.
I wish you luck in your quote-unquote retirement, I guess. It's been a long journey for you. I shared some of those years with you, so I want to thank you for such a long tenure of service.
Great.
Yes,
Thank you.
I've been here 3 years, and so I want to thank you for your guidance, your leadership, and your shoes were definitely very hard to fill. Thank you so much.
Keenan's got big feet.
I just wanted to say from the get-go, two things were very clear when I first joined the board. One was what level of professionalism and preparation and how seriously you take this, which made me take it very seriously. And secondly, I noticed immediately how warm and welcoming you were for the new members when we were joining. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that.
Thank you.
My experience was a little different. The first time I met Paris I was on that side of the podium asking for money. And just for the record, we don't always approve asks because I was on the receiving end of the big fat no that he spearheaded because I didn't do my homework properly. So then I came back and things worked out. But that's when I realized, oh, this isn't just a handout. You got to be doing something for the downtown. So He led, in my opinion, a great reign of keeping the fiscal responsibility intact. Huh?
The reign of terror.
The reign of terror,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, it's easy to overspend, right? Anybody that's married would know that. And then secondly, I got outvoted. I wanted to buy a big old rocking chair for you.
Oh, good.
But
And a corn
That
cob
squeaks.
pipe.
apparently there's other things in store for you, but congratulations on your retirement.
Great, thank you, thank you.
Well, Paris, from the get-go, you set a good example by examining everything we went through. And it showed that actually you did care and looked thoroughly. So when we have the meetings, you would dig in deep, and I was impressed. Set a good example. So I learned from that, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe you've represented the committee very well. And the committee wanted to thank you for your 12 years, is it? 13? 14 years. So we all pitched in and got you a little thing that at least when you look at it, you can remember us and think of us.
Wow.
I'll read it. It says, presented to Paris Morphopoulos in grateful appreciation of your dedicated and loyal service, 2010 to 2022.
It'll
Yeah.
work. Close enough.
Clearwater Downtown Development Board, December of 2022.
Well,
So you don't break it.
well, I don't really care what it says as long as you spell my name right. And you did. That's great. They did, yeah. That's very well done. Great, well, thank you for that. That was more than I expected, for sure. That's very nice. I will admire it.
401k is being transferred as well.
Yes, I've been looking forward to that and counting on it. Okay, so let's move on. Howard is back on at the podium with an update from Florida Best Productions.
Howard Smith, Business Assistant Administrator. So in September of this year, you all approved funding for the South Center District. This event featured live music on Cleveland Street at the 600 and 500 block, also dancing the street, and this was truly an event. It also featured a mojito contest, which the winner of the contest is I believe it's a Greek restaurant, Acropolis, that's in Tampa. So I'm not sure how a Greek restaurant wins a mojito contest, but nonetheless it won. It also had live DJs, and it also connected the businesses to the event. The sponsor after party took place at Downtown Pizza as well as at Tequila's, and talking with the management staff of Tequila's and the owners of Downtown Pizza, it's been one of the busiest nights that they've had this year. So tonight I have Richard Del Rio. He was the applicant for Florida's Best Promotion, here to be able to talk to you about the salsa event as well as provide you all updates for it. So with that, I'd like to bring up Richard.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you to the board. It's a real honor. And it's been a real pleasure to do this event with you guys in the city of Clearwater, CRA, Parks and Rec. Everyone has been truly amazing. And I've been doing this for 10 years with different municipalities, and I can say it has been a pleasure to work with you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. So in this presentation, I kind of took what we started with when I originally presented to you, kind of left it the same, and just give you an update on each slide. So our mission was to increase visibility of the downtown area and to support the local businesses and give back to them and for their support. And we were able to do that. As Howard said, we included tequilas and downtown pizza, and that was super successful for them and for me as well. And then, we talked about, what the reasons, good reasons to sponsor the event, and that was to bring awareness, and we were able to do that with, a lot of people who didn't know much about the beautiful downtown area that you guys have. We also had a lot of exposure with 92.5 FM. We also had some unexpected exposure through Dola Tampa Bay, which is a morning show, a television show on Channel 38. And then we also was invited to interview about the event with Gail Guariardo, morning show, Bloom TV it's called. So that was great. We were able to support the local merchants. We supported local arts and culture by everyone who was hired for the event were all local talent, local bands, local dancers. Everybody was local, which was very important for us as a company to support local. Specifically, it's a tough market for big bands. Salsa bands usually have 10 to 12 members. So it's very difficult for them to stay busy. So it was a pleasure to support local, thanks to your support. These were some of our social media numbers, some of the marketing that we did. And obviously social media helps. But our 10 years of experience doing this event and the following we have is also a big reason why the event was successful. People know what to expect at a Florida Best Promotions event. And this is just a picture with myself after the interview with Gail Guariardo on Bloom TV, and then also with Dola Tampa Bay. Those were some of the dancers that performed at the event, and that's Christina Valderrama. She's the host, and also she's a morning show host for 92.5 FM. And we did a lot of advertising with 92.5 FM. Some paid advertising, and they also sponsored some of that advertising as well, because they see the value in in partnering with Florida Best Promotions for these events. They also have value by partnering with us. So that's basically it.
Sorry.
Please go ahead. No.
I was just wondering on the 92.5 station, without getting into specifics, like how much reach, like how many spots was it, and how many people you think were listening to the commercials about the event?
So 92.5 is probably one of the longest standing Spanish radio stations in the area, and has some of the biggest reach. They do now have some competition in town, but the exact numbers of the reach, I don't know. There was about 10 spots a day, and that went on for about 3 weeks. That's a super high value there, and that reaches from Sarasota to Brandon to Spring Hill.
So it could be 1 million listeners.
Or more, plus the television. My social media, reached over 100,000 people by itself. And like I said, people have grown to know what to expect from a Florida Best Promotions event. Been doing it twice a year for almost 10 years. So, and we're super excited about the start we had here in Clearwater. To me, it's just a start. It's just the beginning, and hopefully that I can be working with the city of Clearwater in downtown for the next 20 years, if God willing, and really, really enjoyed it. Love the venue.
Sorry to keep interrupting
Please.
you, but my marketing thoughts are going. Would you be willing to do a video interview with our CRA staff, just testimonial about the DDB and your event, and possibly listing how all the different marketing things you did to make it a success, because arguably it was one of the most successful events we've ever sponsored.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. Like I said, it was truly a pleasure to work with you guys. I've been doing this with different municipalities for a long time, and this was my best experience, by far.
Wow, that's very good to
By
hear.
far. And I'm super excited about the start. We had, somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people. It's hard to estimate because it's a free event, but 2,000 to 3,000 is a good estimate, which is what I did when I first started this event. And the next time that I did it, we had 5,000. The next time we did it, we had 9,000. Next time we did it, we had 10,000. And the last time we were able to do it before COVID on a large scale, we had over 12,000 people. So we see that happening here in Clearwater as well. And I think it's just timing is right for us to meet each other at this time with the Imagine Clearwater project getting ready to take off next year. We're super happy to be a part of that, hopefully, and to grow together with you guys.
Well, I think I'm impressed with the turnout from the initial event, but I'm even more impressed with the reach of your marketing. That's the kind of scale that we need on what we're doing. We need just the next order of magnitude in promotion, which is what you achieved.
Yeah,
so that's very gratifying to see.
Yeah, I think the fact that I have a history of successful events that people have enjoyed, we have a brand that people recognize, and part of the success is that I don't do it too often, right? I get requests to do this event by a lot of people all over the place, and most of the time I say no. I think 2 to 3 times a year is enough. It takes a long time, a lot of work, a lot of time to put these things together and to do it right, and with the detail that we did this event with, and we're super happy not only with the success of the turnout, but just the ins and outs of it. I mean, I really was super happy coming to downtown Clearwater the next morning and just checking to make sure everything was clean, and me and my wife who's only way I know how to say it, ride or die. But she was there with me cleaning up Sunday morning, and by the time the city came, it was spotless. And that's how we like to do things. When we come in, we like to make a big impact and leave it better than we found it. And we feel like we were able to do that.
Very good. Thank you.
Great
Is
job.
there any other comments or questions from the board?
No,
Okay.
great job,
Thank you very much. And we'll see, the board will entertain a request in the future. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next item, the CRA update from Matt.
Yes, I just have 2 items. Number one, Howard's been hard at work with artists to, hopefully you've seen, to paint different holiday images throughout windows downtown. I personally have received many emails, compliments on that, so it looks absolutely fantastic. So we've got 75 businesses we're working with. And then also just for those of you who were there at the tree lighting ceremony, I saw Shahab, I saw Keenan out there. It was a wonderful, wonderful event that Vicky, unfortunately, she had to leave earlier. Big kudos to her and the rest of the staff for putting all that together. And just really want to thank you for your support for the ice, for the snow. What I found fantastic about that is, as opposed to other ceremonies, there was lots of reasons for people to stick around, to hang out, to enjoy some time. And I took a walk through the 400 block and noticed that many of the businesses had more people there, especially Downtown Pizza, because you had all these families out there, the kids are playing in the snow, they wanted to get a bite to eat. So just thank you again for your support for that.
Very good.
And then last thing, I'm sorry, Dr. J. Matthews did start Monday as our new CRA director. She just started. It's been a whirlwind. So I said, if you want to come tonight, that's fine, but if not, you know, we'll go to the January meeting, but I'll formally introduce her at the next meeting.
Very good, thank you. So we'll move on to the chairman's report. There's a very long list of events coming up in December. I don't think I'll take the time to read them all out to you right here, but you can celebrate the holidays right here in downtown Clearwater. There's events almost every day from now till Christmas, and you can enjoy the lights and the decorations on the holiday stroll. And from December 8th to December 21st, there's events virtually every day. So please check our website at downtownclearwater.com/holidays, and it'll give you a complete list of all the events. But with that, I'm going to move on to board members to be heard.
Well, it's the end of the year, and I look back and I think this is the best the downtown has been, and I've been here 40 years, so it's looking good. Very happy. I want to thank all the CRA members and all our attorney and everybody involved. You know, man to man, shoulder to shoulder. I think we've done it, and we're going to do a better job next year. So, and I got my windows painted. I'm getting comments. Whoever put those elves on there, that's pretty cool. They got no eyes, but they got a hole in their head. Anyway, it's drawn a lot of attention, and downtown looks better and it feels better, and everybody's happier and excited. Again, I want to thank everybody involved, and wish for a very, very successful next year.
Again, to end the year with a big thank you to the CRA staff. You guys have been such a great support. Wouldn't have done anything without you guys' help. And the board, I really appreciate what you guys do. You don't have to be here, but you are, and that's what makes it wonderful. So I want to wish everyone wonderful, happy holidays, and look forward to a whole new year that will outdo this year.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, I got my Christmas present. With all that snow, it took 3 days to melt. So I was out every chance I could chucking snowballs at my friends. For a moment, I thought I was back in Chicago, for a slight moment. But thanks to the CRA, I thought the last week was the kickoff was spectacular. So have a great year. Or New Year's. Sorry.
I will just reiterate the appreciation for CRA and all of our the folks that we work with, and thank you again, Paris, for your support and your guidance all of these years.
Thank you.
And as everyone says, we definitely want to thank the CRA for the great job they do, and let's strive to have better, do better next year. I know this year was good, but we want better next year.
So I just wanted to bring you up to speed on some things I caught. One of the things that you were listing was your initiatives regarding permitting, so I wanted to bring you up to speed on that. We are assessing our permitting process, and we will be having and discussing the results of that assessment in the next coming weeks, and will be presented before the council, because that was one of the things on my bucket list as well. Very happy to announce November 8th, the citizens of Clearwater very loudly accepted the bluff development for our downtown. So it was a lot of hard work by the city council and many people, and we're very, very happy with the very clear support of that. The last 4 weeks have been a whirlwind. I've attended the vast majority of events in downtown, and it really gave me a glimpse of what downtown could be and what it should be. I wanted to actually also inform you all that all those events that were sponsored by the DDB, they all did a great job to announce your sponsorship. One of those events that come to mind is the Jazz Festival. It was like almost every 20 minutes, sponsored by the DDB. So be rest assured that they are honoring that partnership. And then I just do want to kind of circle back to the salsa night. It was by far the most successful event I've seen in years. It was epic. There was 3,000 people, and they were all dancing, all ages. It was joyous, it was infectious, and it was inspiring. And it just showed me that it can be done. So I would like him to do it more often than once a year. So we'll see if I can manage to do that. So other than that, I wish you all happy holidays and a wonderful happy new year.
Great.
The downtown is looking beautiful with all the Christmas decorations, and the crowd at the Christmas tree lighting was huge, and they were all happy. And same thing for this weekend with the Miracle on Cleveland Street. So things are popping. I think we've turned this around, and 2023 is going to be an epic year. So see you all then, except Paris, I'll just have to see you on the street.
Okay. So my final comment is that this is my last comment before the board after many, many years. So I just wanted to again thank all of you for all of your contributions, which would take too long to list out. From our legal help to our secretarial help, to the minutes, the staff work in preparing all the grant requests, and just responding to everybody's requests for information. Our ex officio members coming out on their own time to observe what we do. And of course, our volunteers here on the board who do an outstanding job month after month with very little pay, as far as I'm aware. And I think I'm leaving the board in very good hands, and I'm very hopeful that it's going to do really far better than anything we've done before in the coming years. So it's in good hands, and I'm leaving it confident that it's just going to go up from here. Okay, so with that, at 6:16 in the evening, this meeting is adjourned.